Here we go.
I hated our email.
Here we go. No, you don't like to spell it out.
I just thought it was confusing.
Right.
Because is it a letter U or is it a Y-O-U? It's just confusing to speak.
Right. So I got us a new Gmail.
But then you never used it.
No, we talked about it. Hold on. Let me turn this off.
Okay.
Oh my God, we did it. We're live on YouTube.
Ooh, finally.
Amazing.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Okay.
Hi, YouTube Live.
Hi, YouTube Live. Is anyone there?
I don't think so.
Can we check? Oh, wait. Aren't we not able to see or something?
I don't know. Well, if you're there, thanks for being there.
Hi.
Hi, Kelly.
Hi, Lindsay.
How are you?
I'm good. Are we starting?
Yeah, should we start?
Is this us starting?
Yeah, let's just do it.
Okay, let's dive in.
Welcome to Fuck You and Smarter, the comedy game show where we compete with a quest. We're on a quest.
We are on a quest for knowledge.
Yes, where we compete with a guest on a quest.
Ooh, we're changing it up.
To find out who's the smartest person in the room, Zoom, YouTube Live.
Wow, we just keep adding onto the intro. I like it.
Yeah, now there's a quest involved.
Yeah. Did you ever play King's Quest?
Yes.
That computer game?
On like the old computer.
The old computer.
Yeah. In the computer.
It's in the computer, yeah.
Kelly.
Yes.
How is life being back from the 2 road trip episodes?
Oh, great. Not only did we go on 2 road trips, but then we talked about it for 2 weeks.
Yes.
It was fantastic, and I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to have a guest this week, and
I
I loved talking to you, and I loved rehashing our summer, but let's move on. You know what I mean?
It's time to get back into the swing of things.
Well, it's time to go back to school, masked and vaxxed.
Yep,
all right.
We're masked, we're vaxxed, and we're ready to relax.
Whatever.
So speaking of South Florida, this guest I knew 1,000,000 trillion years ago.
Oh, come on. You guys aren't that old.
No, we're not that old. But I saw on Instagram, I was like, oh my God, she's living in LA now. Oh my God, she's kind of doing the same thing that I'm doing right now. We should hang out and be friends. And instead of doing that, I was like, do you want to do our podcast?
Well, this is how we vet people to be our friends. This is how we bribe people, vet them, get to know them.
I wanted Corey to like me first.
Right.
Because I'm just so likable on this podcast.
Right.
And then be like, you guys, I had so much fun. Do you want to be my friend?
Right.
And then
it's like hooking someone with lies, basically.
Yeah,
it's like lying on your resume.
Yeah.
So
she doesn't know how depressed I am.
No, she doesn't know what a trash person you are when the cameras are off. And the microphones are off.
So let's bring in our lovely guest. I'm so excited to catch up. She's an actor, writer, director. She's doing really cool shit all over LA. Can't wait to plug all her plugs.
Yeah.
Corey Podell, hi.
Hi.
Good to see you to the Zoom.
Most of the friendships I've made in LA come from podcasts, being guests on podcasts
I love that.
or stuff. So I think it's the natural order of things here. It's totally normal.
Yeah, it's like a friendship speed dating sort of accelerator.
You quickly spend a lot of time with somebody. And then it's do we want to hang out with that person?
Right.
We know all their deep, dirty podcast secrets.
Right.
There you go.
Corey, we went to Hebrew school together.
Yes, but you need to tell everybody I'm older than you.
I know. So not that much older now that we're older, but
I see you as I see Lindsay as little sister age forever.
Right.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes. Totally, even though it's only a couple of years. But Lindsay loves to say how much older than her I am, which is literally only a year and a half.
It makes me
But
feel
she
bad.
really loves to say you're older than me.
You're probably the same age. Your brother was in my class.
Yeah,
But I went to pre-first, so I was always a year older than everybody in my class.
Was that for the stupid kids who couldn't get into first grade?
They didn't say that at the time, but now that I think about it, when I'm a little older, I think that's what was happening.
Okay.
I mean, pre-first was sure you did kindergarten, but
you're not ready.
First grade's a leap.
Yeah. You're like
you're
still sucking on the teat a little too much, so we're gonna like give you another year to do it.
I think so. But I was your sister's age, and what I can tell you what I remember is like I was really, my childhood best friend was Amanda Crone. Do you remember her?
Oh my God, that's my sister's best friend.
Oh, wow.
Right. So there was like, so Amanda lived down the street from me. I was obsessed with her. Like I'm like, Amanda Crone is like number one forever for me. And I remember Jessica was like her family friend, best friend who went to a different school. But I always loved Jessica. Like she was always so nice to me and like so friendly. And I loved seeing her at Hebrew school, and she was always so cool.
Like her. No, I'm shocked by all the things you're saying about my sister.
No, she was.
Just that she's nice, you know.
Well, I have fond memories of her. Really, I do. Yeah. And my mom, I asked my mom, I was like, "Do you remember the Gentiles? What do you remember about them?" Because I'm going on Lindsay's podcast, and she just said that she remembers your mom being really kind to her. And really sweet. And like that wasn't always the case with Jewish women in Coral Springs.
Oh, 100%.
So she remembers that about your mom.
Oh, that's so sweet. I'll tell her that.
Lindsay's family is pretty awesome.
Yeah, my mom was always like ran with the Jappy crowd, but was a hippie, which we'll talk about because when we asked you all the questions, you said that you were a Gyppy, a Jewish hippie.
I've never heard that before. I love it.
And I was raised by a Gyppy, so I really like related so hard to that.
I was a goth hippie.
Yeah, I was more of a Jewish a junk.
You were a junk.
I was a junk. So Amanda's parents, you know Edie and Bob?
Yeah.
Edie is Amanda's mom.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. Full circle.
I just saw them in New York. They're the best.
So the Crones lived down the street, and Amanda was my best friend, and she was an only child, and I had like 2 younger siblings. So she always wanted to come to my house because she thought my little siblings were so cute and fun to play with. And I was like, no, let's go to your house because you have like a TV in your bedroom and a dog, and like it's quiet
Zeke.
there.
Her dog Zeke. So cute. Amanda, I was little. Like I would sometimes.
You were so much younger than that.
Well, I was the annoying little sister, and sometimes they would allow me to be at the sleepovers.
Yeah.
And I saw War of the Worlds at Amanda's house.
Wow.
And I think I saw Truth or Dare at Amanda's house.
I believe it because I saw Pretty Woman multiple times at her house when we were like way too young to watch it. But we would have Edie, we were honest, and we would like pause the movie and be like, it's that scene. And Edie would come in and fast forward it and make us like, and then we would go back. So there was some level of censorship, but it was still cute. Like Pretty Woman, you know?
Oh my
God, I used to watch all those movies that were too old for me at my childhood best friend Nicole Anderson's house, and her older sister Carrie would play all these movies for us. They turned their garage into like a screening room, basically. It was just like a big living room, but that's where we watched all the movies. They had a catalog of movies, like a Dewey Decimal System for their VHS tapes. They were like up on the walls, all these different shelves, and we would watch everything we weren't supposed to watch. Yeah. That's where I saw It for the first time when I was like so small.
No.
Freaked out forever.
It's classic. It's really classic to have a friend growing up that has video games and movies that you're not allowed to watch at your own home.
Exactly.
It's a so special person.
Exotic.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
And it's funny that Amanda was that because Amanda was like kind of in my eyes, like very kind of a goody-goody in a way.
Yeah, she was really like responsible and smart and
she had her mom fast forward through the sex scenes.
So cute.
Yeah, we would like narc on ourselves and be like, we're watching it. Come here.
Oh my God.
I love that trust between like the children and the parent though. Like it's a safe space. Like she knows you're watching and that's fine. And then like she supports you in the moments where, you're out of your depth. Like it's really cute.
It's so cute.
Yeah. Anyway, Amanda and I follow each other on social media, and I think it seems like she turned out really great. And I only have like love and
So
appreciation for her.
Next time you come on the show, we'll have her on as well, and you guys can be a team, or you can go against each other. Yeah, we won't tell you. We'll
surprise me with a reunion from my like childhood best friend.
That's so cute.
Amazing.
Edie is my godmother, so I still see her quite a bit. I haven't seen Amanda in a really long time, but I'm really close with Edie.
Does she still live in Florida?
No, she's in D.C. now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
She should hang out with Justin and Mike.
I know, but she has like kids and a family, and they're like,
yeah, she's like a well-adjusted person.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She's like a real human.
We'll keep my friends away from her.
She's a lawyer. She's like a real human. Corey, did you go to Taravella? Is that where you went?
Yeah, and then I went to a private school after that. But yeah, I was at Taravella for a while.
What was the private school that you went to?
American Heritage.
Oh, I remember that. I remember that school.
Which is quite a name for a school if you think about it.
It really is.
Now that you look at it, I haven't thought about American Heritage. Ooh, that's so creepy and weird. Mm-hmm.
But I went to Ramblewood Middle School and Riverside Elementary School.
Okay, because Kelly's from Cooper City. Which is not far from us, but I went to Douglas, so I went to your rival high school. But I also
Douglas
went to
was the nice school. Where'd you go?
I went to North Broward Prep.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
I
really don't know anything.
I don't remember. I just remember hearing the names.
I remember like Cardinal Gibbons and American Heritage.
I remember hearing American Heritage. I don't remember anything about. I don't remember hearing about yours, but anyway. Anyway, blah, blah, private schools in South Florida.
Why'd you go to private school? Too many fights?
No, it was like part of my teenage angst. And I'm like, I hate this school. I hate everybody. And I like just tortured my parents until they like let me go to a new school. It was like, you know, I don't really remember the details, but it was like, you know, teenage drama, not anything real.
Don't you wish it still worked like that if you were just like dug in so hard on like a job you wanted or like an acting role that you wanted?
Right, now it's called stalking. You can't just say
that. No. Also, they're just like, no.
Right, but you can't like beg your way into anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a shame.
Yeah.
It's not, actually. It's better this way.
Probably.
Yeah.
Corey, what kind of a student were you?
So I was always a pretty obedient, compliant, try my best, follow the rules student. My parents were like, they're not like conservative people, but they were kind of strict with us with like, you are expected to get good grades. Like that is it. Right. And like, no question, you are expected to go to college, a good one. And you are expected to like respect us and follow our rules. So I had like, I just never wanted to be in trouble. And so I sort of, that was like my guiding thing was like, don't be in trouble. Don't.
Right. Do you think you're still like that?
I think I'm less like that, but I do think it's like really deep in me. And that's like, not to get to whatever, but like, that's what I'm like working through with like my creative work is like trying to not be so like follow the rules, like don't like being so afraid to fail on stage or fail at all is like a real problem with me. So I taking
totally
more risks.
With that.
I'm like trying to take more risks, trying to like be less self-conscious, trying to remind myself like no one cares, no one remembers, no one like try stuff. So it's something that like I'm still unraveling. Like
Same.
Yeah. I mean, even just like writing games for this podcast today, it comes out in all of these different ways. I'm like, oh my God, my games are so bad. It's so stupid. Everyone's going to think I'm just such a terrible podcast host. I'm like, first of all, no one cares. Yeah. You're the only one who's thinking about it. And second of all, you're always your own worst critic. Like it's literally going to be fine. Like what's more important is just having fun, like
having a connection,
and like no one's gonna be like, oh she misspoke that word on this on like episode 98 of this podcast, and like it's not gonna go down in history, you know?
All of my mentors and like people I've respected, who I've worked with, who have given me advice, like the common refrain over and over is that like I am the only one getting in my way. Like I'm getting in my own way is like the same. That is my note upon note upon note. So
yeah,
it's like I got that's my stuff I'm working on.
Yeah, totally.
We have had that conversation so many times, the two of us.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm just kidding.
But yes, we can relate to that so hard.
Yeah.
So did you go to a good college like your parents wanted?
I did. I think so. I went to Boston College, which is in Boston, and I really loved it. It was a very like, I think until college, I had just like done what I needed to do to get the grades I needed to get. Like, I don't know if I loved learning or like,
right.
You
were just doing it. You had to do it, so you just did it.
I mean, I think like certain classes I loved, but like in general, it was like a means to an end or whatever. Right. And then when I got to college, I was finally like, oh, like thinking deeper and like opening up my mind more. And it really was like.
And you get to choose what you want to learn too, what you want to focus on. You can like pick all of your classes in a different way and like really, what am I actually interested in? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like when I took philosophy for the first time and I went,
nope.
Nope.
Yeah.
I'll take this one class and then I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah, philosophy was not as much fun as I wanted it to be.
Oh my God, it was just one rambling long sentence.
One rambling old dude.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I know philosophy sounds like
sounds
cool
great.
College, what you want, but it's not really what you want,
It's actually not.
All. It's like that guy at the party that you get stuck to and like talking to in the corner.
Yes.
And you're like, how did I get here?
Right.
That's how I felt the whole time.
Yeah. And he's like,
there's
Nietzsche.
There is a philosophy, there's philosophy Twitter. I don't know how I know this, but there's philosophy Twitter and it is extremely dramatic and very controversial and like it's like it's like the worst of Twitter, but like also philosophy. Just
oh my God.
Can check that out.
Well, we should do like a comedy version of that.
Yeah. A philosophy Twitter,
Yeah, a comedy version of philosophy
like
Twitter.
You have nothing better to do with your time. I'm gonna have a bunch of philosophy listeners yelling at me about talking smack about philosophy. All right, should we play?
Yeah, let's get into it.
What? Do you have like a straightforward game? Are they all silly? What do you?
I'll tell you. I'll just tell you what I have.
Actually, I think I want to start with one of mine.
Okay.
I think we can kind of segue talking about what Corey was like when she was younger. She mentioned to us off the pod
have one of those too.
That you were really into the band Fish. And I can't speak for Kelly, but this was like not my thing. Like the Fish thing.
I like Fish.
It was.
I like recently saw.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Where?
The Wiltern.
Really?
Yeah. It may not have been the whole band, but it was definitely like the main dude. Trey,
I want to
whatever.
talk to
when you say
Fish.
I just want to be clear about Fish. When I said I was into Fish, it wasn't like it was all, I was like cosplaying as a Fish fan to like hang out with the boys that liked Fish because those were the boys I liked. So I was LARPing essentially. And like now, I remember like 2 songs. So I will fail whatever. If this is a quiz about Fish, like.
Yeah, I mean, I only know 2 songs too, but like I enjoyed.
What are the songs you know?
I don't know.
Something
about a farm. I don't know.
The one Fish song I know and love is called If I Could. And it is their most like, it's their shortest song and like their most like nice girly floaty
song. Like tied up with a bow. And it's like, that's the one.
Like, okay, this is the one I'm going to know all the words to.
Yeah. We're not going to jam for 30 minutes on this one. We're just going to.
Oh, yeah. I enjoyed the like getting high and just listening to jam forever. Like, I'm like, oh wow, the song's still on. I'm loving it. I like a jam. I like a good jam band.
I like a jam. Never got into Fish. Mm-hmm. Knew I was like couple of people away.
You like
from
Dave
Fish,
Matthews Band,
but I didn't really get into Dave Matthews until like college.
All right,
like it wasn't really. I wasn't there yet. I wasn't there
so
yet. You guys.
High school, college, but it's not that big of a difference.
Well, we're gonna play.
All right. Anyways, let's fish it up.
Swimming with the Fishes.
Oh, here we go.
Amazing.
So we're going to talk about Fish, the band, and then we're going to talk about Fish, the aquatic gill-bearing animal.
So
Excellent.
this is what class in school?
Biology.
Biology. Okay.
Now, just so you know.
But your teacher is a fish head, so that he likes to throw in some. Yeah.
Wants to put in some fish back.
Yeah.
Just so you know, the definition of a fish, the gill-bearing animal, on Wikipedia is fish are aquatic gill-bearing animals that lack limbs with digits.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So they do have limbs, but the limbs don't have digits.
Never thought
right.
of it that
Never
way.
did. I would not have described a fish that way.
All right. And for those listeners who don't know, Fish, the band, is an American rock band that formed in Burlington, Vermont in 1983. Who knew?
Wow.
They are known for their musical improvisation extended jams.
Yep.
Like extended for days. Blending genres and a dedicated fan base like Corey Podell, who apparently only listens
So
to
dedicated.
them for the boys.
Did you get the boy?
No.
No.
No. I mean,
sad.
maybe.
Right, maybe a little bit.
My friend
Maybe,
was
like, we
dating
made
this
out.
guy.
Right.
My friend was dating this guy that was on a bean diet, and she
No.
ate all these fucking beans. And then they broke up, and I was so... The thing I was the most mad about was that she went on that fucking bean diet.
That's awful. I dated a very unhealthy vegan guy for a while in college, and it's not.
Like, you're eating vegan
It doesn't
food,
smell good.
beans, you're listening to fish. Like, what are we doing here, guys? Okay. All right, let's talk about both kinds of fishies. So we're going to start with the animal. And I'm going to start with our guest, Corey. Let's talk about halibut. Let's just talk
Let's talk about what?
Let's get into it.
Halibut.
Halibut. Okay, great.
So, halibut is the common name for 3 kinds of flatfish
Oh, wow.
from the family of right-eyed flounders. Did you know that it's like a flounder? Didn't know it.
Right-eyed?
Right-eye flounders.
Why is it
I guess it has
only
a
has
big
one eye?
right eye.
Right eye is bigger?
My question for
That's
Corey,
conjecture. We don't know what we're talking about.
what does the name halibut mean? And I'm going to give you a few options, okay? Does it mean A, breathing fish, B, salt fish, or C, holy fish?
I'm going to say C.
That is correct.
Holy fish.
Now, I didn't know, Corey gets a point. I didn't know if Corey would know this because I don't know if you're still Jewish, but we were raised Jewish, I believe.
Right.
I'm still Jewish.
Okay, she's still Jewish.
I haven't converted or anything.
People eat that on like religious holidays. They eat halibut because it's like the holy flatfish, and they've been like eating it since the beginning of time on holy holidays.
Holy flatfish?
Holy flatfish. Didn't know it.
But wait, have you ever had halibut on a Jewish holiday?
No, I think
Me
it's
neither.
like a...
This could be regional at this point. I don't know.
I've never heard of a halibut holy connection.
You're not on the halibut diet?
No. But apparently it's the holiest fish there is. That's what
I thought that was
internet says.
gefilte fish, but all right.
Wouldn't you think?
Corey, when was the last time you ate gefilte fish?
Over 10 years ago, for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
If I'm not like with
right?
I do like it.
Yeah.
I like anything weird and fishy and pickles. Like, that's my jam. I'm down with that
It's
kind
too
of stuff.
Well, then
gelatinous.
It is
that's
gelatinous.
Jewish food, pickled,
Yeah.
fishy.
I'm into it. Yeah.
It's just all it
I'm
is.
super into it.
All right, Kelly, let's talk about lungfish. Have you ever seen a lungfish?
I don't know.
Probably the most unattractive fish you can find.
Are you attracted to fish generally?
I mean, some of them are attractive. This one was not.
Okay.
Lungfish are the only living fish that have both lungs and gills.
Wow.
They have lungs and gills, you guys.
They're gill-bearing and lung-bearing.
And lung-bearing, okay?
How are their digits?
No digits.
Got it.
Still no digits. Okay, they need lungs and gills because they live in small lakes and rivers that sometimes dry up.
Whoa.
And when this happens, these fish don't die. They can actually survive in the mud for up to 4 years using their lungs.
What an adaptation.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that's amazing.
So what is this type of dormancy called? Okay. A, estivation, B, torpor, or C, brumation. Is it estivation, torpor, or brumation? And have you heard of any of these things?
I'm going to go with A.
Estivation?
Sure.
That is correct.
Yeah?
Yes.
It just sounds sort of like a word that I made. It sounds like estuary.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's spelled A-E-S.
So
but Americans call it E-S.
Oh, okay. I don't know. No, I haven't really. I've heard of torpor. That sounds more like...
I can tell you what that is.
Yeah, tell us what it is.
So torpor occurs in some small warm-blooded animals when food is scarce. They can go into like hummingbirds, small mammals, bats. They're able to like rest in a way where they can conserve their energy.
Got it. Like a type of hibernation almost?
Yes. And then brumation is like a reptile's version of hibernation.
Okay. And what's estivation?
That's that they can use their lungs.
That they
can like sit in the mud and use
breathe.
their lungs and breathe that way, I guess.
Estivation is when you sit in the mud and use your lungs.
Yeah, use your lungs, man. Okay, speaking of man, I don't know what that means.
No one does.
Corey, let's get to Fish the Band.
Woo!
All right.
All right. Jeff Holdsworth is a musician who was a founding member of the rock band Fish. They actually founded the band in their dorm at the University of Vermont in the fall of 1983. The band originally featured Holdsworth, Jeff Holdsworth, and Trey do you say Anastasio?
I think so.
Anastasio?
Mm-hmm.
Sharing lead, vocal, and guitar duties. Then there was John Fishman on drums, Mike Boyd on the bass guitar. He left the band. This guy, Jeff Holdsworth, left the band in 1986.
Mm.
Why did he leave the band?
Ooh.
I can give you A, B, and C. He graduated and wanted to pursue a career in electrical engineering. B, he became a born-again Christian. Or C, he had a falling out with Trey over their vocal stylings.
Ooh.
Why did he leave the band?
This is a guess. But I think it's C.
That is incorrect.
Okay, is it B?
Okay, I'm gonna give you a point for B.
No. You don't have to.
But here's the deal: the internet. So half the people say it was because he became a born-again Christian. And then the other half of the people say that that's not true, and he graduated because he wanted to become an electrical engineer.
That was my guess.
And I could not find the truth on either thing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
The truth is out there, but we don't know it yet.
I don't know his religious affiliation.
I don't know if I got that point, actually. But sure.
Maybe half.
Yeah,
Give her half. 1.5.
Give her half, yeah.
Because actually my first instinct was to say born again Christian, and of course I didn't trust myself, so here we are.
Look,
here you are with only half a point when you could have had a whole point.
I did it to myself.
There could be truth to that. I believe that maybe he was like got a little weird in college and started talking about Jesus and stuff.
And then also became an electrical engineer.
Yeah, it could have been both.
Yeah.
I actually couldn't find the correct answer.
Okay.
All right, Kelly, number 4.
Yes.
Ben and Jerry's, based in Vermont, named 2 ice cream flavors after the band.
Right.
My favorite, fish food. Love it.
Oh, that's not the answer.
It's
that was my guess.
my favorite Ben and Jerry's. What was the other one? Was it A, Wake and No Bake Cookie Dough Core, B, Anastasio Pistachio, or C, Freezer Surprise?
Let's go A. Wake and No Bake.
That is incorrect, Corey. Do you want to try to steal?
What was C?
Freezer Surprise or Anastasio Pistachio?
I'll go with C.
That is correct.
Okay.
Freezer Surprise.
Freezer Surprise. Don't really understand it, but I will tell you what it means. So I don't know if you guys remember this, but in 2017, they did 13 Nights at Madison Square Garden. I only know that because Carrie Menalakis sang with them. And I was
cool.
like, oh my God, she was my roommate. And I was like, weird. The baker, they called the run the Baker's Dozen. And for some reason, Ben and Jerry's think that that's related to Freezer Surprise. It was a limited batch donut-themed flavor, Freezer Surprise.
Ooh.
So
they're high. Do we really need to try to figure it all out? You know, like, it's fine.
All right, we're going to do 2 more.
Okay.
Corey, which one of these is not a way that fish communicate with one another? Okay.
And this is back to the
Now
gill-bearing, digitless.
Yes, we're back to
Okay.
gill-bearing. A, synchronized swimming. B, electrical pulses. C, sounds using their vocal cords. Or D, rattling their bones.
What? Rattling their bones? What is this, a cartoon skeleton?
Yeah.
God,
rattling their bones.
I hate science. Okay.
And just so you know, Corey, I know Lindsay said she wanted to be friends with you, but this was her choice based on the fact that you said you hated science so much. She did this on purpose.
Noted.
Yeah, write that down.
I think that, okay, I'm just going to talk through my thought process here. I want to say they don't communicate through vocal things, but like I know that whales do, but whales aren't fish, right? They're mammals. So I'm going to say that. I'm going to say C.
That's correct.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They rattle their bones.
They rattle their bones.
They rattle their bones and they click their like teeth. Yeah. They make all sorts of weird noises with their little bodies. Okay.
Weird.
This is my last fish question, and then I'm going to tell you fish fact.
Is this for me?
Yes. 1/3 of male fish in British rivers are in the process of changing their sex to female.
Good for them.
I know. A survey of 1,500 fish.
A survey. Did they interview them with
interviewed
tiny
all
little underwater microphones?
Yes. 50 river sites. They found more than 1/3 of the males displayed female characteristics.
Cool.
What is causing this change?
Hormones in the water.
Where are they getting the hormones
From us.
From
From like medical stuff.
Yes,
from shit that we're flushing down the toilet.
Kelly, I'm giving you 2 points.
Woo!
You didn't even get an A, B, and C.
Yeah.
A lot of it is from our birth control pills.
Of course. Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Makes sense.
I think it's crazy.
No, it's why. I mean, it is crazy, but it also totally tracks. Like it's everything in this world is connected.
Yeah, it's all our sewage. It's changing the game for fish.
But hopefully,
fish.
Hopefully the birth control in the water makes them get their period regularly at least, and makes them get rid of acne.
Hopefully.
You know.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a big problem for fish too. Yeah,
Huge.
I think that this is actually probably a weird, benefit.
And when
for
you
them.
get pimples under your gills,
have you ever had?
Painful.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh, a subgill pimple is just the most uncomfortable.
So,
you have no digits to even pop it.
It's true.
With
one more question I'm going to ask you both.
Okay.
Where did the name Fish come from the band?
Right.
Why did they name the band Fish?
Didn't you say one of the dudes?
Oh, go
We
ahead.
have the same answer.
Well,
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Mine's a guess too. It's
Mine's
named
total
after
guess.
their guy, then the band Fishman.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that your guess?
Yeah.
Okay, so while that was believed for a very long time, okay,
The real fish scholars discovered.
In an interview, Fishman, was like, the band was not named after me. That's not true. We were having a conversation, And we wanted to name the band after the sound a plane makes. Psh, don't shoot the messenger. So we were going to name the band Psh, but then we thought we needed a vowel, and we had already made the logo with the Psh, so we just snuck an I in there, and it worked. That's what he said.
Wow.
That's literally what he said.
Again, just high people logic.
Exactly. And I just want to apologize to all the actual fish heads out there who are listening, who are like ferociously email you all the right facts about it, because I'm sorry I don't respect, or like I didn't respect this world enough. It was all about the boys.
It's usually all about
Boy
the boys.
Crazy.
Before we leave this section, I just want to tell a joke. What do you call a fish with no eye? Shh.
The original name of fish. Yeah.
Notice the silence. All right, that was Swim with the Fishies.
Woo! Amazing.
Thank you.
All right, for our next class. For our next class, let's stay on theme. We're going to go to music class. Ooh. And now we're going to talk about someone that Corey actually enjoys listening to and like truly appreciates as a musician. We're going to music class today, and this game is called You've Sure Got a Springsteen in Your Step Today, Corey.
Wow, that really rolls off the tongue.
Wow, thank you so much. I actually feel a lot of pressure about this, and I hope I do well, because he's my spiritual father, so I need to honor him.
Yes. That's big. Okay.
People that like Bruce Springsteen are really serious about it.
Yeah.
And I have to admit, the only thing I know 2 things.
Okay.
Courtney Cox was in one of his videos.
Okay, right. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And I know that he's from New Jersey.
Right.
That's it.
Those are essentially the only 2 things I know about him as well, although I forgot about the Courtney Cox. I have been meaning for my whole life to like get more into Springsteen, you know what I mean? And so I promise you, Corey, after this, I'm going to Spotify playlist, just like all Springsteen all day, and I'm gonna like really just try to channel you.
Yeah.
Please. I mean,
in the USA?
I did know he was born in the USA. That I did know for sure.
It's about the music, but it's also about like, just his persona, his way of being in the world. Yeah.
I love it.
Totally. I get it. All right. So unfortunately, we don't have an A, B, and C for these games. So you guys are just going to have to let it roll. You got to know what you know. You got to make it up if you don't. Here we go.
God.
Corey, according to a rundown on CNN, the boss, which he's called, remember that? Did you know that? You know he's called the boss?
I know that.
He has 2 middle names. Corey, do you know what his middle names are? I'll give you a hint. One of them...
Give me a hint.
One of them starts with an F, and one of them starts with a J.
I know one of them is Frederick.
Yes! Ding, 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 ding. Can you guess the other one?
I'm going to say James.
Oh,
that's what I was
so close. No. Joseph. Okay. Give her half a point. She got one of them. Bruce, Frederick, Joseph, Springsteen.
Wow.
Lindsay. Number 2. Bruce knew that he wanted to be a rock and roll star when he saw Who perform on the Ed Sullivan Show. Who performed? Name another musician.
Is it just one person?
It is one person. I'll tell you that. It's not. It's a one famous singer. I'll tell you, it is a guy. It's a dude.
A famous dude.
Think 50s and 60s.
I don't know.
Corey, chance to steal.
I'm going to say Elvis.
That is correct.
Okay.
Ding, 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 ding.
Wow.
All right, Corey, true or bullshit? True or bullshit? Neither Bruce Springsteen nor any other member of the E Street Band have ever actually lived on E Street. True or false? True or bullshit?
I think that's true.
No, it's bullshit. Actually, the original keyboardist, David Sanchez. I don't know how to say that.
David
Sanchez. Yes. Well, it's spelled like Sancious.
Weird.
It's still, I think it's still Sanchez.
Sanchez, okay.
Yeah.
Original keyboardist David Sanchez lived there. E Street runs northeast through the New Jersey shore town of Belmar, and according to Springsteen lore, the band took its name from the street because the original keyboard player, David Sanchez's mother, lived there and allowed the band to rehearse in her house.
Wow. Now that you say this, I do, like, I listened to his autobiography during the pandemic when, like, all we were allowed to do was, like, go on walks or whatever. So I listened to this, like, huge thing in, like, 3 days, and I totally remember that now.
Yeah. Yep. There we go.
Oh, well.
Oh, well. Listen.
Elvis. Wow. Corey.
She's still back on Elvis.
Elvis. I mean, it makes so much sense.
Lindsay,
yes.
number 4. Dr. Ruth once visited Springsteen backstage at a show. She told him she liked what he said in his songs about love and sex, but she wished that he would mention more of what?
Women stimulation.
No. Corey, chance to steal.
I have no idea. Wish more of
women's brain power. Masturbation?
Contraception.
Oh.
What the fuck? Like, yeah. No, actually, Dr. Ruth is wrong. We need to undo history because that's wrong. I mean, contraception, good, whatever, but like, that would have made his song so bad if he was like, Mary and Joseph down on the shore put a condom on. It's like,
exactly.
No.
Should we write those songs?
Maybe we should.
Should we write that song?
Is she still alive?
No, I think she died. Did she?
No, I think
she die
recently?
Is she still alive? Oh my god, I'm gonna look it up right now.
My sister and I were in New York.
Oh my god, I hope she is still alive. If she's still alive, I feel so terrible that I thought she died. Yeah, she's totally still alive.
She's still alive. She's very old.
She's 93.
We saw her in a Starbucks once. My sister and I almost died.
Oh my god, amazing.
In New York, like at Trump Tower, like
oh
we
my god,
went up the escalator and there was this like there's
Why
a
are you in
Starbucks.
Trump Tower?
Because there's like a Starbucks upstairs on Fifth Avenue and we're like going up and I'm like, oh my god, like I was like, it's Dr. Ruth.
Oh my god.
I was like freaking out.
Yeah, well, apparently he replied, gee, it's going to be tough to get the word contraception into a song.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What rhymes with contraception?
I mean, a lot of what I like about his music is like, it's about the vitality of youth and like people being in love and like getting out of their towns and like living to the fullest and like, sorry, but like putting your diaphragm in or whatever is not part of that story.
Yeah, that can happen in the background. I'm sorry. That's just not the message here.
Like, do that behind closed doors.
That's why we have you, Dr. Ruth. Thank you for all you do.
But yeah, all the respect to Dr. Ruth, just not in this case.
For sure.
Yes.
Correct.
Agreed.
All right, Corey, number 5. Springsteen had a bit of a hard time in school. Now, a nun did something to him that he'll never forget, and so did a priest. Do you know what they did? They both, I guess, punished him in different ways that he remembers.
I mean, I don't remember specifically. No.
I think they beat him with a ruler.
No, although they definitely, I'm sure, had rulers. This is so interesting. In the 3rd grade, he says, a nun stuffed me in a garbage can under her desk because she said that's where I belonged.
Whoa!
Isn't that horrible? So horrible. And then he said, I also had the distinction of being the only altar boy knocked down by a priest during Mass.
Whoa.
So like a priest tried to fight him. A nun put him in the garbage.
Wow.
That is...
Yeah, he still considers himself Catholic and kind of into it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Years later at Ocean County College, you went to a better college than him, Corey. Legend has it, although that's not fair. I don't know anything about Ocean County College, but I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
But
Boston
American
College is probably better.
I was going to say American Heritage sounds fancy.
Yeah. Legend has it that his fellow students petitioned the administration to have him expelled. I don't know why. But then he also had his fans. Some of the girls in his high school approached the administration with a petition demanding that Bruce's band at the time, the Castiles, be given more attention and respect.
Wow.
So he had his groupies already.
I love that.
I love it too.
It's interesting, like his autobiography. I do remember when I was listening to it, and he talks about that time in his life. It was like, I was so weird and I was such an outcast, but yet he was in a cool band and like also like definitely was hooking up. So
totally hooking
how
up.
much of a loser was he, and like how much is that like a
but like but of course that stuff stays with you, right? Like as a child he was stuffed in a garbage can, you know what I mean? Like, so there was like, that's, you know, we at the same time, yes, he was like hooking up and definitely was cool. We carry that like 10-year-old inside of us still.
Yeah,
we all carry the 10-year-old inside of us that was stuffed in the garbage can. So Lindsay, what was the first song he ever learned to play on the guitar? You can get a point for even just knowing the band.
Mary Had a Little Lamb.
No, it's think about famous bands.
The Rolling Stones.
No, good guess. Corey.
I think it's The Who. The Who.
No, good guess. It was the Beatles. It was the Beatles. Twist and Shout.
Oh,
yeah.
He plays that in his concerts. I should know that. He loves that song.
That's so funny. Green Day also plays that sometimes, remember?
No.
Really? Well, we're seeing
them next week, so yeah.
They do like a little bit softer now. Is that the same? Twist and Shout? Is it the same?
No. A little bit louder now. No,
that's not Twist and Shout.
Yes, it is. Is
it?
Think about it at weddings, right?
Yeah, it's like, doesn't it? I don't know.
We'll play it here.
Everybody.
Now the listener. We're going to drop that in right here. Okay. 2 more questions real quick. Corey, true or bullshit? He once wrote a song for Elvis Presley. Later in his idol's career, he actually wrote a song for Elvis. Is that true or bullshit?
I think it's bullshit.
I am going to give you the point for that. No, I am, because Elvis died soon after and never recorded it. So, but he did write a song for him, but it wasn't actually recorded, so you wouldn't have known.
I don't deserve that point.
I'm giving you the point. I'm giving you the point.
All right, fine, but okay. I'm humiliated. I'm humiliated that I don't know any of these
answers. You're doing great. You did know some of them. Here, you can probably get your cred back, because Lindsay. I know. I'm assuming you're gonna miss it.
Definitely gonna miss it. I don't have 1 point in this whole game.
Lindsay, number 8, last question. You've sure got a Springsteen in your step today, Corey.
Yeah, I'm not even in the title.
Kitty's Back is a song.
Kitty's Back.
This song was inspired by an establishment on the Jersey Shore. What kind of establishment?
A strip joint.
God damn it.
Is it right?
Yeah.
Woo! I'm on the board, kids.
Yeah, apparently Kitty was coming back to the club. She was a dancer.
Good for her.
I assume. It was inspired by a neon sign that Springsteen saw promoting the return, of a popular stripper at a Jersey Shore strip club.
Nothing like a stripper at the Jersey Shore.
Named Kitty.
Wow.
When was the last time you went to the Jersey Shore?
Wow. Oh, actually 2 years ago.
It's fun, right?
Yeah.
Corey, have you been to the Jersey Shore?
I went there because I was in New Jersey, in the Jersey Shore area, for a wedding like 5 years ago. And my husband and I he was my boyfriend at the time, but we went to where Bruce Springsteen used to play all the time, called the Stone Pony.
Give her a point for Stone Pony. That was like all over my questions, and like I just didn't get to it. Yeah. Oh my God, give her a point for that. Seriously, that was
we went
trivia
to that bar.
That
it was like kind of closed, like whatever. But you could like peek your head in and like see where. I mean, it looked like a bar, whatever, but it felt special. And I will say, like, a lot of people on the Jersey Shore, like a lot of vendors are definitely like. There's like so much Springsteen merchandise and memorabilia and like the boss and stuff.
Cool.
It really is like cool how he like owns the Jersey Shore.
Yeah.
Wait, true.
Now what are Springsteen heads called? Like we have fish heads, we have like dead head, whatever. There's all these different.
They're probably called like the Steeners.
Can I tell you a good story though? I went to
please.
When I was 19, I went home from college. I was in Coral Springs, and he was playing at whatever the Panthers Arena is called now, which whatever.
Yeah.
It's like out in the swamps. Okay. So he was playing there and I had tickets to his show and my dad was supposed to go with me. My dad came back from a business trip. He was like, because I like Bruce Springsteen because of my dad liked him. Like that's why. So we were going to like do this thing together, go. He got back from a business trip. He was really tired. He told me he didn't want to go. So I brought my like little sister who was 15 at the time, knew nothing about Bruce Springsteen. We had nosebleed seats. We got there at like when the doors opened, basically. Right. So we were like in our little nosebleed seats up over here. You could barely see the stage. And we're like so excited. And this man dressed in black like comes over to us and was like, I work for Mr. Springsteen. Do you want to trade your tickets in for second row center? And we were like, what? Is this a joke? Yes. And then we like we were like, oh, and he was like, do not like bring any attention over here. We were like, okay.
Oh my God.
And we got these tickets and apparently they're called the Men in Black and like Elton John does this and like some other artists where
it's legit.
Like, no, it's legit. It's like they will have their roadies or people at the venue. Like if people are there in their seats when the doors open and they're in shitty seats, they'll like give them better seats. It's like Billy Joel does it. That's who does it too. So
that
it's like
is so cool.
So I had actually like heard this legend before about the Men in Black, but like totally forgot about it. And then it happened and we like, I mean, we were second row center and his concerts are like revivals. They're amazing.
Yeah.
And we were definitely like the youngest people there. And everyone was like, someone came up to us and like offered us money for our tickets who were like 10 rows back. We were like, no. And like, I made eye contact with him and I like touched his hand and like my sister was like, is a fan for life now. It was really,
that's incredible.
And then, you know, my dad was like,
so mad.
What the fuck? My dad was so pissed.
So pissed. Would he have been there that early?
Would he have been there that early? No.
That's a good.
So, yeah. And would they have offered me and my dad tickets? Or is it like two girls?
Or is it two girls?
Know? Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
It was so really
cool,
special.
Corey.
And I have to, like, I went to a concert of his in LA, like probably 10, 12 years ago. And we had like regular seats with my friends and it was still really good, but like, it's hard to go back once you're up close. Yeah.
When you see when you see a band or a musician that you love that close, and then nothing can compare. Like that's one of the most amazing experiences you can have like in life.
Like I might just need to like, let that be my Bruce Springsteen concert, you know, and like whatever. But did you hear about his daughter?
No.
His daughter just won like a silver medal in the Olympics.
Oh shit.
Wow.
Her name is Jessica Springsteen and she is a horse girl. She's an equestrian.
That's right.
Wow.
Oh wow.
And she's gorgeous. But it is interesting. You know, it's kind of funny that like some people comment on about Bruce Springsteen is like he has this image of like I'm the working man singer, the working man, blue collar, right? And he like literally is so rich and owns a horse farm, and his daughter's an equestrian, like fancy horse girl. Yeah. So, but whatever, good for him. He deserves to do whatever he wants.
Exactly.
I love it. Well, I looked up what Bruce Springsteen fans are called.
Oh,
and the internet says Bruce Tramps.
Bruce. Oh, Tramps.
Okay.
Bruce Tramps. Yeah. You're a Bruce Tramp. You're a Bruce Tramp.
A proud Bruce Tramp.
I think he does refer, I mean, he uses the word tramp in a couple song lyrics. So I think that tracks for me.
That makes sense.
Bruce Tramps. Well, it's recess, you guys. Should we play MASH?
Yes, definitely. Corey, when was the last time you played MASH?
Probably a few years ago because I like playing it every so often.
Amazing. All right, Corey. When you were little, who were 3 guys or anyone that you wanted to marry?
Mark Paul Gosselaar, who played Zach Morris on Saved by the Bell. Mm-hmm. That was a
formative... Did you want to marry Mark Paul Gosselaar or did you want to marry Zach Morris?
Zach Morris, yeah.
Let's say Zach Morris.
Can they all be celebrities? Yeah, they should be, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
They can be whoever. They could be your next door neighbor. It doesn't matter.
I also wanted to marry like Eddie Vedder.
Yes. Oh, he was on my list for a long time too.
Like that was the kind of guy I had crushes on, like grungy, like.
Yep.
Same.
But like, yeah. As I got older, younger though, blonde. And then who else? Let's just say my childhood crush, Michael Berryman.
Love it.
Who is Michael Berryman? Can you tell us more about him?
He was like my second grade, like, it's
Love
like
it.
who I remember I think I told you guys, like, I went boy crazy in 4th grade onwards. So like,
I love it.
I was like totally stable until then. And then I like lost
totally
my mind for years. But he was probably like the first boy I was like, where's he parking his bike today? Or where's his lunch table at? You know, like clocking him.
Yeah. All right, and 3 fantasy careers.
Actually, like, this stuff was not on my radar at all until I got older. So I think back then I would be like, fantasy career would be, I wanted to be a teacher.
Yeah.
And then I think I wanted to be like, when I was in high school, I was like, I'm going to be a travel writer because that sounded cool. But like,
I still want to be a travel writer.
I know. I think it sounds cooler than it is. And then I was in like dance school and I like was doing that seriously for a little while. So I think I would have said like ballerina in like not a little kid ballerina way, but in like a more like.
Yes.
Like the New York fucking ballet.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, cool. And then you tell me, would you ever want to live on a yacht? Because I used to play Mashy with my friends.
What's Mashy?
Well, we just put a Y at the end for a yacht. So like mansion, apartment, shack, house, or yacht.
Yeah, let's do
that.
Yeah,
want to throw it in there?
All right.
I'm going to start making my spiral and you're going to tell me when to stop. And starting.
Stop.
Perfect. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're not living in a house. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're not marrying Michael Berryman. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're not living in a mansion. 1, 2, 3, 4. No Zach Morris. It's Eddie Vedder for you, baby. Woo! And 1, 2, 3, 4. Not a shack. That's good.
That's
1,
good.
2, 3. Ooh, wait, I did that wrong. That's okay. We'll keep going. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're living on a yacht. Yay! It all working out.
With Eddie Vedder.
With Eddie Vedder. 1, 2, 3, 4. Not a ballerina. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're a teacher.
Woo!
Wow.
What a fancy teacher.
Oh, wow.
You
Fancy
are.
teacher on a yacht living with Eddie Vedder. Maybe you teach like spearfishing or something.
Right.
Who knows? Wow.
I love
Interesting
it.
life.
I love that life.
Yeah.
I love that life.
That could have been you.
Well, I made all the wrong choices.
Didn't we all?
How did you get into all the producing and directing and acting and stuff? Because were you in plays when you were younger?
No, like I was never like a theater kid. I did, like I said, I was in dance and everything, but and it's funny, like I would go to camp every summer and I would do like skits and like I was always like really outgoing and funny at camp. Still never thought that was like something you could do. Even in college, there was like an improv team at my school that actually Amy Poehler started like before I got there, but it was very good. And I would like go see their shows and I would be like, oh, how can people do that? Crazy. Right. And so it just never,
when I see improv,
it never occurred to me that like in my realm. So I was actually like, just like living my life, whatever. And I had a boyfriend. This was like, I'm a late bloomer. So like in my mid-20s, I had a boyfriend, late bloomer in my career. This guy was like, you're funny. You should take a class or something. So it was almost like I needed permission from someone else to tell me to do acting. Like maybe I wanted to do it deep down inside. But so once he said that, it was like something clicked and I just Googled like the closest theater to where I lived or like the closest class and it was Groundlings, which I didn't understand like the context of what that is.
Right.
And for people who don't know, it's like it's an improv comedy theater in Los Angeles, and lots of great people have come from there. So I started taking class for fun. I had a day job. I was like a normal person contributing to society. And then I just kept getting like, I really loved it. I met a lot of people. I kept getting like moved forward and like up in the levels. And then eventually like I was performing there and teaching there. So I actually did become a teacher.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
You did.
Eddie Vedder's waiting around the corner for you, babe. It's going to happen.
Amazing.
We live on a coast. The yacht can happen, like, which one step at a time.
I love it.
Yeah. So it sort of like was a huge turn in my life to do that. But once I did, it was kind of like, okay, there's no going back now. So I since like 2011, I moved out here in 2003, and then I started class there maybe like 2007, 2008. And then from 2010, 11, I've been like performing, directing, writing,
That's awesome.
teaching, all that stuff. But yeah, it's like it's hard because what's hard for me is not like having regrets about like, man, I wish if I had just like majored in theater or acting, or if I had like made choices earlier, I would be further in my career by now. But that really like is so unhelpful, and I'm trying to stop. Like,
it's really unhelpful. And I majored in theater, and I'm not very far in my career either, and I'm still figuring it out. So I don't.
Everyone's journey is so different. I mean, the most talented people in my class quit a long time ago. You know, like I think you could also get burnt out and quit by this time. So I think like whatever was meant to be your journey, like it is what it is. You know.
Yeah.
You did the deal. You did the deal.
I did the deal. And the truth is, like, I think that having good life experience before I started all of this has only helped me in my work. You know, it's not like I moved out here at 22 and started auditioning and like didn't really know what having a job was like or whatever. It's like have something to bring to it.
I love that.
Yeah, and you have the foundation of knowing how to be a normal person too, which is nice.
Which is hard. A lot of people like struggle when you're in grounded. The arts of like the in-between. Like Kelly kind of had to teach me, like, you have to be happy in between shows. You have to be happy in the in-between jobs. You have to be happy in between. I think if you had a normal life at some point before this, you can kind of appreciate those things more, you know? It's hard. It's hard with the ups and downs and all that, you know?
Yeah, and my husband is an actor, and he makes his living as an actor. He's a character actor and like, you know, works on and off and steadily somewhat. And he's done a really good job of accepting that it's going to be like this for our whole lives.
Yeah.
Like he's like in full acceptance of that. I'm not in total acceptance yet.
It's amazing. Yeah.
I'm like, but you know, like I still am like so programmed from my childhood of like a linear path and like your career must go like this.
Yes.
For those listening, I'm pointing in a line upward.
In an upward line. Yeah.
She's on a diagonal.
On a ramp. Going up. Yeah.
But acting and anything in the arts is more of a pointy wave if you
exactly.
Well, my boyfriend
like when you're on life support.
Yes.
It's your heart, the heartbeat rate.
You know, we were talking about it last night because he gets a great gig. He's a cameraman. He gets a great gig where he feels like he's doing something artistically fulfilling. And then he's like filming a millennial talking about video games for 3 days. And he's like, what am I doing with my life? And then he gets a big job. And it's like so many people in the artistic field, not just actors or creators in that way, we have to work gig to gig, and some of the gigs are cool and some of the gigs blow, you know, but you just take the money and run. So it is definitely like a tough.
And sometimes you're not making any money, and you're just like,
why am I doing it for free? What am I doing?
Yeah.
Why am I paying for this?
Why am I paying for headshots again?
Why?
Oh my God! I literally.
Speaking of, I need to get headshots.
I just booked new headshots this morning. Now that you mentioned that, that's ridiculous.
Oh, nice. Let me know. Let me know who. I need to. No, mine don't either.
I know I need new ones, and I told my agent I'm too tan. Can I wait till my tan goes away?
Too tan?
Yeah. She's like, I don't think that's. I think you're gonna always be tan.
Yeah, I think
I was like, okay.
You have to just accept the skin that you're in. Yeah.
It's really tan right now.
You're beautiful.
All right, should we go on to? Okay, so
all right, we have a couple more games for you.
I wrote a game. This episode is really Corey-centric. So
yeah.
Corey,
even though the last one she didn't like it, so you need to. I hope you chose something she actually likes.
This is something she actually likes.
She hates science and she didn't really like fish. So
well, we have to suffer sometimes to appreciate
gain
the things that we love.
That's true. There's no.
It's good to
appreciate the sunshine.
Yeah,
peaks and valleys,
just like our careers.
We're gonna do a real world versus fuck you and Sparta challenge because Corey was obsessed with the Real World seasons 1 through 8.
She's a Real World head.
And I think that's about where I dropped off. I maybe did a couple more years after season 8.
I don't even remember what season 8 was, so I probably dropped off a little before, but I was deep in it while it was on. However, that was a million years ago.
Yeah.
So
I really got into the challenges for a while.
See, I didn't love the challenges. I liked the regular show.
Yeah.
I still watch the challenges.
Corey, I watched the challenges till about maybe 4 years ago. I dropped off. But if I knew where to find them, you could tell me where to find them, I would still watch them and enjoy them. I just kind of dropped off. Love Johnny Bananas, love The Miz, love all the greatest hits.
I don't even know who these people are.
You would know if you watched the challenges because they've been doing this. They're like 100 years old and they're still doing these challenges.
I don't like watching people do competitions unless it involves food.
Oh, see, these are so fun, though. Yeah. They do crazy shit. So let's get into it. Let's go back to Ruthie, Jacinda, Neil. Remember Neil?
I remember his name.
Remember Irene?
Yes. Oh, she was a bitch, right?
Well, the slap heard around the world, Irene.
The slap, yes. Do you remember that?
Wait, someone slapped her?
Yes.
Yes.
We're going to talk about
it.
Okay.
It was deserved in my hot take.
I remember not liking her. She was Miami, right? Was she Miami?
She was
Seattle. God damn it.
She had Lyme disease. Do you remember?
That was like her main personality.
I'm thinking of someone else. I remember her.
Yeah.
Oh, she was awful.
Just so you know, she's done stand-up before, and I think we should all try to find her.
Absolutely.
So, the Real World. Okay, so we're going to dive into the Real World. We'll get into some specifics, but we'll also talk about just like the Real World in general of how it began and how it started.
So is this multimedia class? What is this?
This is social studies.
Social studies. Okay.
Oh, my favorite. Great.
Okay.
So, Corey, the Real World was originally pitched to MTV as a scripted show. So Jonathan Murray and Mary Ellis Bunham, I don't know how to say her name. They pitched a series called St. Mark's Place that would focus on a group of New York City 20-somethings, but the network passed because they thought it would be too expensive. So they were like, we don't want to pay for that. Can we do like a reality thing instead? And they're like, sure, let's figure that out.
There wasn't even reality shows then yet.
But that's like how it was birthed.
Right.
So my question for Corey has literally nothing to do with the Real World. What was St. Mark's? Okay, so St. Mark. What was he not?
Oh my God.
What was he not a patron saint of?
Oh my God.
Okay, so I'm going to give you a list. Tell me which one is not something that he was a patron saint of. A, lions. B, lawyers. C, people dealing with insect bites. Or D, lovers.
I'm going to say D, lovers.
That is correct.
That was my guess
Corey
too.
Is incredible.
Nice.
This guy was a patron saint.
Insect bites, lions, and lawyers.
It was like 50 things long. And I'm like, okay, it was just a fun fact. Now let's get into it.
He really cares.
Kelly.
Yes.
There is actually a Real World pilot. Okay? It's never seen the light of day.
Okay.
They filmed a pilot. And it was 6 people living together in a Soho loft.
Uh-huh.
And it was filmed over a Memorial Day weekend in 1991.
Okay.
MTV picks it up, gives them a 13-episode arc to work with. Now, none of the pilot's cast was retained for the first season.
Oh, okay.
But one of them worked with MTV again.
Okay.
Okay? And was big in the MTV universe.
Okay.
Who was it? Was it A, Mike Judge, the voice of Beavis and Butthead? B, Tracy Grandstaff, the voice of Daria? Or C, Billy West, the voice of Ren and Stimpy. I think he created Ren and Stimpy. Was the voice.
I'm gonna go with Daria.
That is correct.
Awesome. I loved Daria.
Now, this is a bonus question for both of you. Whoever gets closest to the number without going over Price is Right style. How much money do you think the actors or the people got for their first season on The Real World?
Oh, wow.
So those that were cast in the first season.
Okay.
How much money do you think they got for the 13 episodes?
$350.
Okay, good guess. Corey?
Like, do you mean you're saying $350 per episode?
Per person.
Per person
total.
for the 13 episodes.
Oh, I
and
think
they paid for some other stuff.
I think like maybe $1,500 a person.
Okay, so Corey is a lot closer.
I'm sure.
It was $2,600.
Okay.
$2,600.
Still not great.
No, and
Not a
like
good
some
wage.
of the later casts only got 5,000. It's not like the Real Housewives where they're making like
50
Teresa
grand an episode.
Giudice is like $62,000 an episode.
Jesus.
It's not like that.
Yeah.
A lot of these casts are only getting like a $5,000 stipend.
Yeah.
But they were also, you have to remember, like, this was the first reality show ever. So it's like they had nothing to compare it to.
Exactly.
Right. So that question was for Kelly. Corey.
That was both of us.
I know, but the one before that.
Oh.
Corey, speaking of money, how many of these do you think production covered in terms of expenses? Okay?
Mm-hmm.
How many of these do you think they covered? Food, phone calls, housing, transportation. What do you think they covered? Food, phone calls, housing, transportation.
I think they covered. Wait, say them again? Sorry.
Food. You know, they have like a group phone calls, housing, transportation.
So I think they covered everything. I'm going to say everything except transportation.
That is incorrect. Kelly, do you want to try to steal?
Whoa. Okay, did they not cover food?
That is correct.
Yeah, it was food.
It's food. They had to pay for phone calls as well.
Oh my God.
They would get a phone bill for long distance calls that they made.
That makes sense because a lot of fights, especially in that first season, were over the phone, over who had control over the phone. So that would make sense if it's on your own dime or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Should have known.
So while a lot of reality shows have like actual crafty and craft services,
for sure.
like they had to pay for their own.
It was bare
because it was real reality. That was
it was real reality show. Yeah,
I actually think that's good that they didn't pay for it because it's like that. Yeah.
Now it's so much more produced for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved that first season.
Crazy. So now it's Kelly's
everyone needs
question.
to go back and watch at least the first season of Real World.
Yes, I want to watch the first 8 now because I went through the list and I was like, oh, I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
Okay, Kelly. Irene with the Lyme disease.
Right.
Okay.
Right. The Lyme disease. Yeah.
She was from the Real World Seattle.
Uh-huh.
She now has a podcast.
Oh.
She's done stand-up.
Okay.
Her podcast is called No One's
Didn't
Listening.
she quit?
And guess what? No one's listening.
Ooh, oh, you're still bitter.
She did wind up quitting, questioning the ethical.
Right.
She was like, okay.
Was she right? I don't know.
The slap heard round the world. Do you remember when Steven slapped her?
Yes, now I do. Wait, he was the black guy, right?
Yes.
Yes, and it was very
Can you
controversial.
tell me why Steven slapped her? Remember, she has like a teddy bear. There's like a teddy bear, and he comes and
I can literally tell you the line. Let
Corey.
No, you guess. You guess why he slapped her, and then Corey's going to break it down for the audience.
Was he also gay? Did she do? She said something very offensive, and I don't remember what it was. But everyone felt like, yeah, she deserved that.
Okay,
Corey, why?
I'm going to give Kelly a point because she's skirting around it.
Okay. So you're right. Irene, and listen. no one should hit anyone. I'm not saying
of
that.
course.
Like they're both in the wrong.
Sure.
And he was,
right. They're
he
both
was
wrong.
kind of a piece of shit.
Yeah, like they're both villains, okay? Or
yes, he was a villain.
He was still like obviously in the closet or whatever. And as she's leaving the house after quitting, she was like, with a smug little smile on her face, she was like, Steven, we'll never be together. And you know why? It's because you're a homosexual, Steven. And he was like, and so she like outed him on national television.
Yeah,
and
that was fucked up.
So you could tell in the moment, like he was really stunned, and his reaction was really ugly. He was like, well, you're a fucking bitch, or whatever he said to her. And he like threw her a teddy bear in the ocean, and she goes to the car that's waiting, and he runs up and he's like, oh, by the way. And he like, you think I'm gay?
That's right. Oh, yes, I remember that. Yeah, he opened
like,
the door to smack her in the face.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't think that's right to do, but
Correct.
I can see why someone, especially that it was still the 90s, like the panic he might have felt and the rage or whatever. So I think like it was just like an ugly situation all around.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And he had said some like homophobic stuff on the show. Like he was kind of a little bit, he was one of those people that was like covering it by making fun of gay people or like saying inappropriate things. So he was also seen as a villain on the show. But that shit was crazy when it happened.
Wow.
Like, crazy.
Yeah.
The slap heard around the world.
Slap heard around
and like
the world.
I think at the time I was maybe in middle school or high school or something, and I remember at the time thinking like, he's so bad for hitting her, like that's so bad, and it is so bad. But like after growing up and like actually thinking about that situation, I'm like, oh, like it was really complicated. And he has since come out of the closet, and because he's been on challenges since then, and he's out now and has talked about it. But I'm like afraid of Irene. Like, is she gonna ever hear this and like hear us talking shit about her? I'm like, I don't want Irene to like come after me and like cancel my ass.
We won't tag her.
But also, can we get together and watch her stand up?
Yes.
She talks about the slap.
I want
to
hear what she has to say.
Stand-up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry for calling
in like
you
a recent stand up or
I don't know. I will find where I found that. She has since performed a stand up routine explaining her life since the show's filming, and she talks about the slap heard around the world. Wow. So we need to find that.
All right.
We need to get into that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Corey. Let's talk about Pedro for a minute.
That's my favorite season.
San Francisco season 3.
Yeah, that's my favorite season too, I think.
Pedro. I just got goosebumps just thinking about him. He was one of the first openly gay men with AIDS
I'll
to
never
be
forget
portrayed in popular media.
It was important.
It was so important what they were doing over there. And then
he was so sweet.
But then we had Puck.
No, I hate him. I will always hate him. I hate him.
He's had a really horrible life.
I'm sure he has, but he was a horrible person on that show to everyone, especially Pedro, and
horrible.
I will never, ever forgive him.
Terrible. But Corey, he was also on some of the Road Rules challenges, right?
Puck?
Was Puck? Yeah. Or did they not let him?
I don't know. I don't really remember him, but he might have been.
So, Corey. His real name is David Rainey. David Puck Rainey. Which one of these statements is not true about Puck's life after the show? Which one is not true? A, he made an appearance in Eminem's video for Without Me. B, he was on Celebrity Rehab with Dr. Drew in 2008. C, in 2009, he was sentenced to a year in a Los Angeles jail for domestic violence. Or D, in 2012, he was sentenced to 2 years in Waco State Prison for stalking a woman. Which one of these is not true?
I think B is not true.
Corey is like, she's a master of
disaster. Which one was B?
The Celebrity Rehab of Dr. Drew.
Oh, wow.
He was actually supposed to be on it. Backed out and then got arrested not long after that.
Holy shit.
I mean, I knew the last two, C and D, were true. I was just like, was he in a music video for Eminem? Sounds right.
right.
Yeah.
Sounds right.
But I loved that season.
I did too.
Love
and you know what?
So much.
Do you remember Rachel from that season?
Yeah.
Rachel.
Yeah.
Rachel
Campos. She was brown hair like mine, which is why I identified with her, because she was like a brunette. I was like, well, then we're the same. And she was a Republican. And now she is a host on Fox and Friends and has 9 kids. And her husband is Sean Duffy, who was in the Boston season.
Yes. I saw that. Yes.
What?
I didn't know she was on. I didn't know she was on.
Which
I knew she was a
she?
Republican.
This one.
I mean, I knew that she was very conservative, even on the show.
Yeah.
And like Catholic, and
she was very Catholic, and she was like, "Oh my God, are we all going to get AIDS now?" Which I understand to a degree. Like, it's a newer disease, so you don't know like whatever. But like, she was a little bit unwilling to like. She was. You could see the conservatism.
But she also was like a rebel and got a tattoo and kissed Puck and stuff. So she also had that streak. And so I really identified with her, because that was my personality too, which was like good girl, like trying little ways to be bad, but like ultimately failing and just being
good.
Yeah,
pious.
But anyway, I still follow her career, and like, I mean, she's pretty, some of her views are pretty crazy, but like, I don't care. I'll always be obsessed with her.
Yeah.
I'll always have like a little to her.
Yeah.
I just remember this. So when I lived in New York, Corey, I was a Sex and the City tour guide. And every once in a while, there would be someone on my tour that was like famous, or I knew them from growing up, that was like very familiar, and I couldn't figure out how. You know, that like crossover, like I know that person, I think I went to school with them, but it's like someone famous. So I'm in the bus and I'm looking at this girl and I'm like, oh my God, I think that I grew up with that girl. She's like my age. I think I grew up with that girl. Like, should I know her name? Like, I feel kind of embarrassed I don't know her name. So I stopped her like on one of the stops, probably at like the sex shop at the Pleasure Chest. And I was like, did you grow up in South Florida? And she was like, no. And I'm like, did you go to the University of Miami? No. Really? Did you blah, blah? And I'm asking her like all these questions. I'm like, I know this person. I'm asking her question after question after question. And then I'm watching the challenge, okay? And it was the girl, I think her name was Sarah, and she dated Adam. Sarah and Adam?
Yes.
It was her!
What season Sarah. Was she from? Was she from Real World?
Was she Real World? I think she was Road Rules.
I watched Road Rules too. Which Road?
She was very recognizable. Was that her name? Was it Sarah or Jenny?
Oh my God.
Who dated Adam?
Who's Adam?
You know who Adam is, right? Corey?
Adam from Road Rules?
Yes.
I'm cutting all of this out.
All the challenges.
I'm cutting all this out of the episode.
Okay.
Cutting this whole game out of the
I thought I knew who you were talking about, but I actually don't remember. If she's from Real World, I would probably know. But
I'm going to send it to you after. I'm going to show you a picture of them together. I saw them on the train like a week later. It wasn't until I saw them together on the train a week later where I was like, oh my God, I'm the biggest asshole in the world. I just made that girl so uncomfortable for like an hour. Okay.
Oh my God.
I'll send it to you guys. Okay. All right, Kelly, which one of these would not get you removed from the show? Which one would not get you removed from the show? A, doing drugs. B, getting pregnant. C, changing your appearance without permission from a producer. D, quitting the assigned job that they gave you. In London, they started like assigning a job to you. That you had
in Miami.
Oh, it was in Miami? So it's like Jersey Shore.
Corey knows her shit.
Oh, I think it was after London because London was so boring.
Oh, I loved London.
That's right.
Yeah.
I loved all
but they all
London.
got along. That's why you loved it.
That's why I loved it. That's why I loved it.
Because the ratings were low.
So they were like, we need to give them a challenge. We're going to start giving them a job.
That's why I really liked that show, because it was nice.
Yeah.
Everyone was like, and actually learned something from each other, and like, I feel like grew as people. It was actually really lovely to watch. I find it more entertaining. That's why I don't like the challenges, because I'm like, this is boring. It's stupid. It's pointless.
The act of making them have work and like work together on stuff actually makes it less real. And I think that's like where they started to go wrong, is because that makes it so produced. And the truth is, like, the coolest stuff happens when like everyone's bored and has nothing to do.
Yes.
Yeah, totally.
It's
totally.
So
yeah.
I should have produced the
did
show.
I avoid the question?
Doing drugs, getting pregnant, changing your appearance without permission from a producer, or quitting the assigned job.
Which one would not get you?
Which one of these would not get you removed from the show?
I know the answer.
I think you wouldn't get removed from the show for not doing the job.
No, you would.
Oh, okay.
You
for
would.
doing drugs. They let you do
I
drugs.
Changing
think
your
it is-
appearance. Oh, sorry, Cole.
Oh.
I thought it was getting pregnant because on the second season, someone got pregnant.
Did they remove her?
No, but she stayed on the show. She
Oh,
had an
I
abortion,
remember
though. That was
that.
a storyline. Yeah, it was Tammy.
Maybe they put that in their
Yes.
contracts after that.
No, but you're saying it would not get you removed from the show.
I'm
that
saying
would. It's
So
it
maybe-
says in
Which
their
question-
contract. It says in their contract if they have a zero tolerance for drugs. If you know you're pregnant or get pregnant, that's grounds for firing you from the show.
So it's only changing your appearance.
Changing your appearance, you have to get permission from a producer, and they'll like if you grow out your beard, they'll make you shave it again. If you cut your hair, they'll make you grow it out like that.
Got
But
it.
maybe it was grounds for kicking you off the show, but maybe it made good TV, so they left it in because it's in their
I know, like,
contract.
I think that would be so stupid of them to
I know
make that, like, that's a storyline.
It's a liability, though. It's a liability, I feel like. Because, like, in their contract, it's like, you can die. Someone can kill you. I read, like, the contract. It's like, we may show you in a light that's not true of who you actually are. Like, you're signing your life away when you do this.
Yeah.
You can get herpes. You're not allowed to have an STD, but you can get it from one of your cast members, and it's not our fault. Like, it's, like, crazy.
Yeah.
But one of the things that they put in there was that was grounds for firing you. Yeah. And the STD things. Except that other people, the cast stated that they had no known STDs, but had to accept that other people on the show might, and they could get it. All right.
So, like, we accept that some of you may have been lying about saying that you don't have STDs. Is that like...
I'm going to give Corey 2 points if
Wow.
she can name the first 8 seasons in order
Okay.
of cities.
I think she knows it.
I think I know it. I think I know it 80%. We'll see. Okay. I think it
Okay.
goes New York City, Los Angeles, San Francisco, London, Miami. No. Sorry.
Yes. Wait.
No.
No.
Yes, Miami, then Boston, then Hawaii, Seattle, New Orleans.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. I
got
have
them out
in
of
my
order.
notes, you almost got it, but then I remember Seattle being the 8th season, so I think I wrote it down wrong.
Oh my God. I will put this to
New
bed
York,
right now.
LA, San Francisco, London, Miami, Boston, Seattle, Honolulu is what I wrote down.
Yeah.
But I think it's actually Honolulu and then Seattle, which would make you correct. So can we just double check that?
We're putting it
Because
to bed. Here
I
we
do
go.
remember that
Okay.
Seattle was
Oh my God.
the 8th season.
Wait, does anyone know what season they're on
I
now?
saw it. It's crazy.
Guess what
They
season?
have it on now?
What year is that? 2019.
2019. What season? Do you
I'm
know,
going to say
Corey?
24.
No, 33. It's
No.
frickin' sane.
Crazy.
Okay.
That's
so
why,
let's go.
yeah, they like lost it after season 10, you know? Like they did too much.
Yeah. I just want to see the list.
It's going to make you go. It made me
What
do
if I
that
did?
too.
Oh my God. Can I use you Wikipedia?
Just
I'm
want to
obviously gonna
know
cut
if it's
this out.
Seattle, Honolulu, or Honolulu, Seattle.
I'm just trying to find the.
Because I think it is Honolulu, Seattle, and I think I wrote it down wrong. Because I
I'm
remember
not so
saying
sure. I don't know.
the Steven stuff.
Oh my God. It made you do this too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just
All
put
right.
in Honolulu.
So season
what
1 was
season
New York.
Go to season 8.
7 was Seattle.
So it was 7 was Seattle and then Honolulu. So I will give you 1 point, Corey, because you almost got it 100%.
Oh,
correct.
Seattle was first and then Honolulu.
Seattle.
And New Orleans
Okay.
was 9. You were right. Yep.
But then you went on. I just said 8 seasons.
Right.
She went on.
She went to New Orleans.
Wait, did I miss Chicago?
What was Chicago?
No,
Boston
that
was 6.
No, you did Boston.
Miami was 5.
You did Miami, Boston, Seattle, Honolulu, and then you did go on from there. But I don't know.
Well, the reason I loved The Real World so much is because I was watching it when I was like I started watching it as soon as it came on. I was like in 5th or 6th grade when I'm watching the first season of these like 20-year-olds. And it just like, I was the oldest. So I always wanted older siblings. I was always obsessed with teenagers. I was always trying to figure out like what's cool, whatever. So I watched it and absorbed like,
love it.
Like how to be a cool older person or something.
Yeah,
I was obsessed with like how cool I thought they all were. And like looking back, I actually just watched them recently, like this past summer. I watched like some episodes from the first season and I'm like, they were fucking cool. Like I was correct in my assessment.
Yes. They were really cool. And I remember they dealt with some real shit. Like that stuff with Ruthie was some real ass shit.
That's who I was thinking of.
Ruthie.
Yeah. And you know what?
She was the one that was really horrible, right?
The drinker.
Yeah. She was Miami.
She had alcoholism.
No,
she was in Hawaii.
She was Hawaii.
Oh my God. Who do I keep thinking of who was the bitch in Miami? That's who I keep thinking
Melissa.
of.
Melissa was a bitch in Miami. And Flora with the Russian accent. Yeah.
That's who I keep thinking of.
Flora.
But here's why I like the first few seasons of The Real World is because this was like at a time when like, and this is going to sound like really boomerish of me or something, but it was like when people could have civil conversations about tough issues, like they actually did have good conversations that were ultimately like, maybe they got heated, but ultimately productive. And it never ended in people being like, you fucking whore, it was like only later on did that shit happen.
Right.
But it's like, and we've like totally lost it now in society. Like you can't have a reality show without people like literally fighting each other to make it interesting.
Right.
And I think like I wonder if people would actually want to see more of like what it was originally, which was like young people like navigating this stuff. But it feels like it would be too hostile now to put different people together.
It's a shame.
It's a really good point. I mean, that's why I loved it. That's why I loved the first few seasons, and then I stopped watching it because that is what ended up happening. I'm like, I don't find this.
Yeah, it became about like,
the Bad Girls
threesomes.
Club now. It's like,
it's like binge drinking and threesomes and like
who's hooking up with who, crazy fights,
and like actually like
it's like
physically going at each other, which was like it's like you don't want that. No.
So,
too much.
Yeah. So I appreciated the like.
I love that.
The realness of it.
Yeah.
Maybe we should start a show, The Real World.
Mm-hmm. That's a good name.
We don't cover any of their expenses.
No.
It's like 4
if you don't want
aspiring actors living in a studio apartment. Like, that's it.
Just throw them a
we
few
get really
mattresses and tell them to have fun.
Ugh, it sounds awful.
Well, thank you, Corey, for suggesting that game because I got to do a little deep dive and I'm going to visit some old episodes because it was really fun to like think about that that time in your life too when this show was like such a big part of our lives too.
Yeah, it was the first reality show, I think.
Yeah.
And it was like it aired once a week and there was no DVR and there was no recording of it. You had to be there and you had to like wait a week to find out like, wait, did they kiss? Or like, did she get the part? Or like whatever.
Whatever it was.
I was like really weirdly invested in that stuff. I'd like,
I love it.
Think about it all week. I'd be like,
like they were really our friends.
They were.
Well, yeah. Well, all right. It's
period.
Yeah. Do we want? So we have a choice. We can. It's getting late. It's like we've been on for over an hour and a half. We could wrap it up here, or we could go to one more period, and I'll try to keep it short.
Keep it short. Do a quickie.
Okay.
We'll do a speed round.
Do a speed round.
All right. Last period of the day. Corey, we've really tailored this game to you, this whole class day to you. We're going to English/American history, and we're going to talk about Little House on the Prairie.
Yes.
Why?
So you majored in American history also?
I majored in history, and like
history,
most of the classes I took were American history. But once again, I'm gonna like totally humiliate myself because I remember nothing.
That's fine. I love that you wrote like I even wrote a thesis. I don't remember anything.
Nothing.
I don't even think I ever read this.
I loved Little House on the Prairie. I was a Prairie head for sure.
I was a Prairie head. And
now, after doing this research for this game, I'm like, wow, it's really controversial. And when I haven't read it, obviously, recently, but, like, the way they talk about the Native Americans, et cetera, and, like, yeah. So, anyway, we'll get into that a little bit. But it was very, like, wholesome, and we can do it, and family, togetherness, and it's a rough winter, but we're going to make it through to spring.
It was multiple books?
It was multiple books, and it was a TV series.
Never saw
I actually did do a reread of them during the pandemic.
Did you? How did it hold up? Whoa! I don't know where mine are.
It didn't I'll just briefly, it didn't hold up, and not for racist reasons. It didn't hold up for me because I realized she spends like so many pages like going through the details of how to sew something on a dress. And I'm like, okay, but like,
moving on.
But like, what happens when you got your period in the olden times? Like, it's like the stuff you actually want to know about, like, is not really included. But I can tell why I liked it as a kid, but it felt a little different as an adult. And I think like there were parts where I was like about the Native Americans, but in my view, it seemed to be more like her mother was, anti-Native Americans. She was scared of them or whatever. But I don't know if like the description of her mother was necessarily like a promotion of that idea. Yes. I think she was just sort of it was there's definitely like people on all sides of it that like can see, but like I do remember
there's good people on both. There's very fine people on both sides of this issue.
I do remember in the books though, Pa is friends with Native Americans and kind of like told his wife to cool it. Like I do remember one part. So it's complicated, but
it's complicated. Again, it's complicated. Yes, but I did also. Yeah, I also loved the books as a kid, and I think I just loved hearing about how people lived. Like, I agree, the button, I don't need to hear about the button for an hour, but, like, I like hearing about people living in, like, different old times. Like, that's always interesting to me. So.
I was reading Fear Street, so.
Yeah, so was I. So was I, okay. Sorry. Wait, who was that?
R.L. Stine.
R.L. Stine. Did you like Christopher Pike, too? I used to read a lot of Christopher Pike. Okay,
anyway. Lindsay was edgy. Lindsay was edgy.
Too cool for Little House on the Prairie.
You were.
Well, I was cool enough that I could do both, so that's me. It's eclectic. What are you going to do? Little House on the Prairie, a series of 8 mostly autobiographical books about Laura Ingalls Wilder's life as a white settler on the American prairie set between 1870 and 1874, has been a perennial favorite ever since it was first published in 1935. So, Corey, first question is for you. The family moved around quite a bit in their Midwestern homesteading, but in which place did they actually live as squatters on what was still recognized at the time by the U.S. as Native American land? Was it A, Missouri, B, Kansas, or C, Iowa?
I believe it was Kansas.
That is correct. When they were living in Kansas, they were squatting and they had to move. The government actually made them move because it was still, at that time, recognized as Native American lands.
Wow.
Lindsay, number 2. Laura Ingalls Wilder was a descendant of Philippe de Lannoy, of Pilgrim of Walloon descent, whatever that is. It's some kind of strange, like, Netherlands thing. He arrived in Plymouth, Massachusetts in the early 1620s. His descendants include many notable people, including the Pilgrims who chartered the Mayflower, and which U.S. presidents? A, Ulysses S. Grant, B, Calvin Coolidge, or C, FDR?
My favorite FDR?
Yes, that is correct.
I just guessed. I don't
also, Ulysses S. Grant.
Ooh.
Yeah, and Laura Ingalls Wilder was also a relative of Calvin Coolidge through another association or another
this
line.
This is a fictional human?
But this is the writer of Little House on the Prairie.
It.
These were like mostly autobiographical books, Little House on the Prairie, about her life.
Got it.
She was a person.
Got it.
Related to the Mayflower people.
Got
related to FDR and Ulysses S.
See, I'm learning.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Great. Let's see. What do we want to do here? Because we're cutting this short. Oh, here's a fun one. Corey, there in the television series Little House on the Prairie, there were a lot of anachronisms. Oh wait, Lindsay, this question's for you. What's an anachronism? And then the question about the anachronisms will be for you, Corey. But I just want to see if Lindsay knows
An anachronism is like soft as a bunny's paw.
Explain that.
It's a way to describe things by a feeling.
No. It is when something is in a piece of literature or art or film or something, when something takes place in a period time, but then you take things from things that wouldn't have been invented at that time already. Like if you're doing the Old West, but then you have people, on cell phones. But that's an anachronism.
They did that in the show?
No, not that specific thing.
But they did anachronisms in the show from the book.
Yes, but you would never notice it. You would never notice it. Here's one. In the episode Meet Me at the Fair, the modern hot air balloon is shown, complete with an FAA regulated number, a system that didn't come into play until the 1940s. Right. However, the hot air balloon itself had been invented.
Got it.
So now I'm going to talk to you, Corey, about the hot air balloon.
Oh, good.
Because this was a new technology at the time. Two French brothers, the Montgolfiers, launched the first hot air balloon on June 4th, 1783. And on September 19th, 1783, they launched the Aerostat Rebellion, the first hot air balloon with passengers, in a demonstration flight for King Louis the 15th. Who 16th? Those are just letters. How am I supposed to know? Mm-hmm. That's 16th. Who were the first passengers of the very first passengered hot air balloon, Corey? Was it A, 3 local criminals chosen in case it crashed? Ooh. B, 3 rich noblemen who wanted the honor? Or C, a sheep, a duck, and a chicken? Just 'cause.
Wow.
I'm going to say the animals.
That is correct.
Wow! All right. Oh my God, Boston College.
Yes. Here's an extra credit for both of you. 10 years later, Jean-Pierre Blanchard became the first to fly a hot air balloon in North America. Which American president was there to see the launch?
What year was it?
1793.
Coolidge, obviously.
No,
that is incorrect.
Would it be George Washington?
That is correct.
Okay.
If you remember from our episode with Dave Abed, he was also the first one to see the first circus. He saw everything, George Washington. He saw the first American circus. He saw the first American hot air balloon. Really exciting times for him.
Wow.
After that war. Wow.
After that war. You know that one.
All right, let's do one more.
Oh my God, Corey's kicking our ass.
Whose question is this? Lindsay's question. Lindsay, pioneer women learned to supply their own household goods. Gourds served as pails and dippers. Wood ash was sifted to make soap. Tallow, which was sheep and cattle fat, was molded into candles. And every cabin had 2 spinning wheels, a big wheel for wool and a smaller wheel for flax. With their own home-woven, coarse cloth of mixed linen and wool, pioneer women made their families' clothing, as we read about with the story about the button. What was this home-woven cloth made of wool and linen called? Was it A, linule, B, linen, or C, linsey-woolsey?
A?
No, it was C, linsey-woolsey.
No.
What?
Yes. It's called linsey-woolsey.
What? How do you spell it?
Like your name without the D.
What?
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like a girl I went to college with, Lindsay Woolsey.
Yeah, right? That has to be. Any Lindsay Woolseys out there, please write us.
Wow.
You're named after cloth.
Well, I tell you what,
Wow.
I don't feel like I missed anything by not reading those books.
You really didn't, I guess. All right, we'll leave it at that. Thank you for coming to my Pioneer Woman
that was fun.
American history class.
Listen,
today.
Marcia just came in and tallied up the points. And
oh my God.
Corey, I mean, it's not even. Corey won by a landslide.
How many points does she have?
Thank God.
5, 10, 15.
What?
She has 16 points.
That's a lot. That's actually a lot.
Kelly
and I didn't even have that many questions on this last game.
And I only have 2 points. This is my worst performance thus far.
I'm so glad it is not me failing this time.
No, I'm the failure, but
you're the dunce.
Corey
I'm glad.
Winner.
I'm glad I won, but I will spiral forevermore about how I did not know enough about Bruce Springsteen. I won't sleep at night. So thank you so much.
We'll bring you back for a Bruce Springsteen quiz so you can redeem yourself.
Yeah, we'll have a redemption. Redemption tour.
Start studying now.
I've made my bed. I can't listen to him anymore. Don't just kidding.
I love it. As our winner, you get to make a valedictorian speech, and you get to look at us and say, fuck you, I'm smarter, in any order you would like.
Well, I guess I didn't believe in myself enough to prepare a valedictorian speech. Which is, says it all, right?
Yeah.
That says it all. Yeah. Okay. But since I'm here, I'm just going to say thank you so much. My parents always got me tested for gifted every year. They thought I was gifted. Okay. Mm-hmm. And every year I never passed the test. They thought I was so smart. I never got to gifted. So, I dedicate this to them for, believing in you, even though they shouldn't have, right? And I want to just thank you guys, and I want to dedicate this to all the boys I loved before who loved fish. I want to dedicate it to Bruce Springsteen, to Laura Ingalls Wilder, to Zach Morris, to Michael Berryman, and most importantly, Amanda Crone, who brought me and Lindsay together, my childhood best friend, who I hope is having a very well-adjusted life with her family and children, and please, she did all the right things,
Yeah, she did.
This is really all for her. Yeah.
This is dedicated to Amanda Crone, wherever you are.
Hilarious.
And fuck you guys, I'm smarter.
Woo!
Beautiful. Well said.
Corey, thank you so much for doing our show.
Yeah, thank you. This was so fun.
So fun.
Thanks for having me.
Perform.
Oh yeah, tell us where we can follow you, where we can find you, what we should be looking at. We didn't even talk about your film that you did last year. That you're short.
Thank you.
Right?
Yeah. So I basically am just sort of on Instagram right now. So if you just follow me on Instagram, I have a link in my bio to my latest short film. It takes you to my Vimeo page where my other films are. And so I'm directing, and the short film is called Rehearsal, and I'm really proud of it. I think it's like my style of where I want to go with my directing, which is improvisational and like centered around like youth culture. Cool. I still am obsessed with teenagers. Sorry, that sounds creepy, but I am, I love that. So
it's fine,
so
Corey, you're not that old. Come on.
I know. I'm directing right now, and I also perform every week with a collective of clowns, not like circus nose clowns, but like performance artists at Griffith Park in LA. It's called Clown Zoo, and it's just like a deranged mask show. Like we wear masks, and it's very wild and free.
I can't wait to come.
Weird. It's very weird.
Yeah.
But that's every week. I post about it there, and just like acting and some stuff here and there, but
cool.
Yes, everyone go follow Corey and keep up with what she's doing. We're gonna go see you at Clown Zoo, so you guys should go too.
Clown Zoo is different every week, so I hope it's a good one. But well,
you guys will have
weird.
Fun.
Yeah.
Cool.
And listeners, don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, tell your friends. Just don't mean to brag, but we did a TikTok video. These old ladies did. So
these old ladies did one TikTok video, and they're very proud of themselves.
Better get on it before we forget we have it.
Yeah.
I could never. I have so much respect.
It took hours, but we did it.
I take it back.
We love you guys. Thanks for supporting always. Listening. And we'll see you next week. Bye.
I love you guys too.
All right, I love you too.
That was so fun.
All right, so you can stop
should I...
your recording, and then you can email it to kellyandlindsay@gmail.com.
Okay, cool.
So it should say
that
like
was really
share
fun.
by email. That was so fun. Thank you. That was really good. Like the time flew by. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
It wasn't even
Send by email, download link.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's